Somehow, I got a job. I didn't mean to. I don't know how it happened, and I'm not sure if I'll ever forgive myself. The only good thing was that it was temporary. In all other respects, it was exactly the same as death. It was in an office, which is another word for coffin. The door opened differently. They let you out at night, but with all the blood drained out of you, like Bela Lugosi in The Blood Donor, an anemic vampire. Buried under paperwork, digging a hole for myself, a cross to bear. Let's get all the imagery, metaphors, whatever out of the way. It was like being dead, okay? Only with more responsibility and a joke cheque thrown in at the end of the week. The office was in University College on Gower Street between Euston Square and Bloomsbury. Pretty much the centre of town, which lent some sort of idiot meaning to the first couple of times I made the journey in. Then I just wished it was closer to home. Then I wished I was unemployed again. Opposite the university was the University Hospital, which I thought was a hospital for students, rather than a training facility for doctors. I began to understand that it was a slightly better university than I went to. Most of the students at my place were more patient than doctor. Here, they were impatient doctorate students. The University Hospital was a solid brick red colour, made of red bricks, and had that reassuring Victorian look of knowledge, science, prejudice, flagellation and vice. University College was, by contrast, one of those white domed marble jobs, all columns and steps, very Capitol, Vatican, Milan Centrale, just with less fascists. The office was just inside the gate after the Porter's Lodge. The Porter's Lodge is a place for middle-aged men to work who haven't sunk to museum guard level yet. They still wear epaulets, still have keys on the belts, and they sit around all day doing nothing. But they look at the girl students instead of blocks of 10,000-year-old Afghan cement with signs on. Actually, most people at UCL looked at the girl students, even the archaeology lecturers. The office was some sort of front office reception idea. We answered questions on the phone and sent out prospectuses. Prospecti? It was not the pinnacle of my ambition, because neither the ambition nor the pinnacle existed. Rather than the summit of my intention, it was the sum of my inattention, a total numbering nil. Better not to be disappointed than to worry about failing. Then I could worry about more important things like failing to worry. Oh yeah, I've got it all worked out, me, you know. In the office there were 3 chairs, 2 other people, me, and no point. Anne was a lapsed human being, struggling with reality, her weight, and the urge to machine gun everybody in the world, starting with a dietitian. Anne spent a lot of time hating everything via the medium of the tabloid press. Tom was a single 30-year-old wall-eyed sociopath who suffered from crippling dandruff and the illusion that we believed he went to Thailand on holiday every 3 months for the scenery and the ruins. Tom spent a lot of time crunching codeine tablets in the bathroom. Tina was the boss and got to work in another office as someone else's PA, but covered for us when someone was missing. She was officially secretary to the Friends of University College, whoever they were, and so the office was called the Friends Room, although the apostrophe wasn't usually pronounced, and we weren't all that friendly. Tina spent a lot of time out of the office. I spent a lot of time envying her. So there I am, wearing clothes I didn't fit in a place I didn't fit in. I'd never actually sat behind a desk in an office before, never looked back at the door, always stood, always faced in, back to the door. Now I could gaze at the portal of my deliverance as I waited for the time to pass until it opened. Let me tell you, in a place like that, time doesn't pass, it oozes. I don't think I've ever been so imprisoned by nothingness so completely. But it wasn't like that to start with. The emptiness grows on you, a creeping shadow. At first I mistook new surroundings for interesting surroundings, new people for interesting people. Then after about 10 minutes I knew I was just looking into the usual abyss from a different ledge. Like I say, we operated as a sort of inquiries office, although we didn't have a lot of information, but because we were just inside the main gates, people came in and asked us stuff, either because they thought we should know or because the porters told them we did. Generally, we didn't. We didn't do much. Wasn't much to do. I don't know what I prefer, doing or not doing. There's a certain level of occupation which allows you to act but not think. And then there's a level of inactivity which forces your thoughts upon you, insists upon your consciousness. Doing, you're not thinking. so you're not thinking you exist. It's like you can do or think. I think, therefore I am not doing anything. I do, therefore I'm not. But as soon as you do something, you become something. What do? I'm a insert job. I've lost myself again. It was all Daniel's fault. He'd been applying for university administration jobs doing something, and he'd told me there was a temp post down at UCL. He found out through the internal post, which apparently isn't an architectural feature. So I'd come down and, well, wrong place, wrong time, ended up with a job. There was a preterm rush of applications and hysteria, so they needed the extra slave. I answered the phone and gave teenagers the wrong information about courses they subsequently wouldn't get onto. Sent various pamphlets and brochures to people who needed them less than me. I got letters from the home counties, Vietnam and Africa, from hopeless hopefuls hoping to get into the third best university they'd ever heard of. Letters from Uganda, from the cleverest kid in the village, starting with sentences like, I trust the Lord is holding you safe in his arms with your family. Stuff like that, rip your heart out. Kids from Southeast Asia would send me a prospectus request and include a couple of dollars as return postage. I'd send back the prospectus with $3 bills in the envelope. That was about it. It's an office. If you've been in one, worked in one, you know what it's like. The atmosphere is worse than prison. The air is worse than an aeroplane. The future is worse than the past, because it's going to be as bad, but it just hasn't happened yet, and he'll have less money when it does. You envy Nelson Mandela before they let him out.